3D Cindy Lou Who Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you Cindy Lou Who from the new Grinch movie, and I also wanted to say that this video has a MelodyMinutes on the end of it, just a couple quick photos, so there's some stuff with her at the end, so if you guys are interested in that, do check back for that. Also today there is a Grinch bottle sculpting. It's a wine bottle that I've sculpted a Grinch on top of it that is going to be on my art channel, uploaded today as well, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below. So if you guys like the Grinch, please check that out. I'm so happy with the way this bottle turned out. It's my mother's Christmas gift. So I hope you guys check that out as well, like I said, description box. But for this video, Cindy Lou Who, the new style, if you guys like the old classic cartoon style, I do have a video of that as well that I did a year or two ago, so I'll put a link to that also in the description box. So don't forget to look at those, and don't forget to click subscribe to all my future videos as well.
So to start with, I'm going to begin the background with just a shimmery white acrylic. Basically, this is just kind of like a milky white color that has glitter chunks here and there, not too much, just something a bit more interesting than a plain white background. And then encase it with a layer of clear acrylic to make sure it is nice and strong, and it will protect those little glitter chunks in the white layer underneath. And then I'm going to take my E-file and I'm going to be filing it into shape. I started out with a pretty coarse bit to remove any bulk, and then used a finer bit to get rid of any of those rough, scratchy texture. So then on a little nail form backing, I'm going to sculpt Cindy's braids. So I'm going to just, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but Max, my cat, is meowing outside the door because apparently I'm not supposed to be locking her out of these rooms. I come in to a separate room to try to get quiet, and she's out there just hollering away. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's cracking me up. Sorry. So anyways, nail form backing, sculpt her two braids, curve them ever so slightly, and then add just the little tufts of hair on the ends. And then I'm going to make two little red bows. So here's the start of the first one. So just kind of press out tiny little bits of red acrylic into that nice bow shape. So when you're doing that, almost think of it like an infinity symbol without the holes in the middle, but that kind of crazy 8 or infinity symbol is sort of the start of your bow process. So just press those out, leave them for a second. They by no means need to be perfect. Once you fold them into that bow, you're never going to be able to tell if they're not symmetrical or whatever. You mean, try, get them close, but don't sweat it too much. So then just fold in those points on the end, just like that. Just kind of tuck those in, and you have your two little bows. So place one of those on the end of each of those braids, just like that. Like I said, these are very quick little bows. I know you could just do them. There's a bunch of ways to do bows, so do them however you are comfortable with. So now with a layer of Cover Pink, I'm going to be sculpting out her face. And my Cover Pink in particular isn't super pigmented. It's a nice kind of jelly color, which does a beautiful job of making like baby boomer nails or anything like that. However, for doing things like this, if you didn't have a white background, I would add a layer of white down first. Otherwise, for mine in particular, you would see the whatever background color is behind it. So if you did like a blue background, she would have a very blue tone to her skin, which isn't really what you're going for. But then after that, I added a layer of pink under her chin for her scarf, and then a layer of red underneath that for just the very top of her jacket. Then going back to my pale yellow, I'm going to start adding the rest of her hair. So her hair has, most of it's in kind of like a flipped out bob, but then she's got her braids that stick up in classic Cindy Lou Who fashion. So when you have the area that you're working on with the braids, when that acrylic is wet, place the braids in there, stick them in so that they don't get forgotten, and then add some more acrylic on top of them. Just kind of seal those in and keep going on. As you can see, I trimmed down my braid with a little manicure scissors as I was looking at it because it seemed a little too long. Since that acrylic is so thin, you can use a manicure scissors if it, I mean, you can judge your own acrylic. I know mine, depending on how long it's been setting, I can easily cut it with the manicure scissors. Sometimes some acrylic, you may try to do that and it's just going to kind of crack, and you may end up ruining the piece that you made because it may crack up the middle, the direction you don't want it to. So just kind of know your product as best you can before you try to do something like that. For mine, as you can see, it trims so easy. It's actually kind of funny because it'll just go snip, and it's like cutting butter. It's no problem. With a manicure scissors now, like a regular scissors, a bigger one, I probably wouldn't attempt that, but the little scissors, it works really well. So I added in the second braid, just like so, and then I'm just going to add several layers of this yellow acrylic to try to get it to look like it does have some more depth to it. When you're doing hair on something like this, it is very difficult, especially with new style of animation where their hair looks very wispy and very real. You can't exactly get it like that with something that is a solid mass like acrylic. It's not going to get that wispy texture to it just because it's it isn't wispy like that. But you can get it as best you can. So add her bangs in there and everything like so. And keep adding layers until you're happy with it. Adjust the face shape, do all of that. Adding her hair is definitely the most time consuming process of this design, especially with the braids that stick up and all that. And then taking a bit more of your Cover Pink acrylic, just add her nose and then add her eyes with white. So really teeny tiny beads for her nose and her eyes. This is such a small character as far as like design on the nail. It's a pretty small little design that you don't need much acrylic for that. And if you don't feel confident getting a small enough bead of acrylic for your white eyes or the nose, you can just go ahead and do that with paint later and it'll work out perfectly well. So then I'm going to take some brown paint and I'm going to be adding some shadows on her hair. So I'm going to do some shadows like right around her neck area and then right at her part and then on the braids. So for the braids, this is actually where the braid texture comes in. I didn't bother sculpting that into my acrylic when I first sculpted it because I figured you wouldn't even tell and it'd just be a bit of waste of time if I had. If you want to take that extra time and do that extra detail, go ahead. I just personally didn't think there was a need. And then with white paint, I'm going to be adding some highlights on the hair, and with a brighter shade of red, add highlights on her bows. Then with brown paint, I'm going to be doing all the outlining and the details on Cindy Lou Who's face. Instead of using black paint, which is such a, I don't know, it's very dramatic as far as outlining goes in my mind, doing something with brown paint, it just makes it look a little less, I don't know, contrasting. Obviously black is contrasting, but so then add blue in her eyes and a little bit of red for her smile. But with black you do need to add some of the outlines. I just didn't think outlining her nose and all of that was necessary with black. Do add some outlines with black around the perimeter and then on the top of her eyelid for her eyelashes as well. You can use some black there. Just try to limit it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then apply some gel sealer over the background, even though you can't really see too much of it. And then some matte top coat over Cindy Lou Who, and you are all done. These are the other characters that are part of this set. We have Max, which will be uploaded tomorrow, and the Grinch that was already uploaded, so that link is in the description box. Here's my little cutie pie with her sparkly red dress on when she took pictures with her stuffed Grinch. So I hope you guys like this design and the pictures of my little sweetheart, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!